Greetings, light workers. It is another day, another month even. This is Oya Transformation, and this is your daily Oracle reading for July the 1st, 2020. It's a Wednesday, hump day. So whatever schedule of this new shifted life you have, we still have an internal clock that says we're in the middle. We in the middle. And hopefully that means to you, if you remember sliding boards, after this day, at the end of the day, you can kind of like free fall the rest of the week. So, but you got to put in the work. Today, you put in the work. Okay, the cards have been prayed on, and only the highest energies around have been asked to join us. I ask that the Holy Spirit through me, I ask that the ancestors, ascended masters and spirit guides be here this day. And the first card that fell was Unbound. And this is from the Work Your Light deck. Releasing old soul patterns, contracts, and past lives. Well, Unbound talks about it never having been a safer time to let go of some of those misbeliefs that you have. Considering we spend probably the first 21 years at least, maybe 33 for some, being indoctrined to what the world would have us be. And hopefully, as you get grounded in your Bodhisattva self, your Christ self, your spirit self, excuse me, you begin to recognize that what the world would have you be a lot of times is not necessarily who you are. And then we have the rest of our lives to hone our special gifts so that we complete the contracts that we came to manifest, and that we finish the old business, that the old business be finished. Those areas of life where parental guidance was wonderful, but now it pushes you down, where community was wonderful, but now it pushes you to a specific corner. It labels you and attempts to usher you into what's comfortable for the world. Now is the time to find out what exactly, first of all, how much exactly can you pull up as courage for your own life. I know we can, jump in front of a bullet for our children, for our parents, for our little dog, for the things that we love. But if we start with the core, what will you fight for in terms of being who you are becoming? Will you fight for yourself? The second card that was pulled is one we're very familiar with, because it's probably been pulled at least twice, 3 times this week after all the shuffling in the world, and that is surrender. And as I've said before, surrender asks that we create something, that is God supported and uniquely ours. Surrender says, I know what I want. I don't necessarily know what it looks like. And I trust in God that what comes to me is for my greater good. And that my powers of discernment have grown in the process of being unleashed. In the first half of your life, or I talk about my life, in the first half of my life, I was unleashed into the world, unbound, not knowing anything about soul contracts, not knowing anything about other energies, not knowing anything about shielding and grounding, and I allowed anything and everything in. And then I had to find the courage to stand for who I am innately to be. And it's a daily endeavor to be strong yet gentle, to be clear yet kind. This is the process of being human. How do we bring our spiritual oneness to this human experience? How do we love the unlovable? How do we love the parts of us that we have relegated as unlovable as well? And third card that supports us becoming unleashed is the 8 of water. Now, 8s speak of continual cycles. They speak of streams and rivers that go into oceans, that become clouds, that become rain. That flow has to continue. Stream, river, ocean, cloud, rain. It's reminiscent of our emotions. Our emotions flow like that. And they have to be allowed to flow. And that's not to say you need to be standing out on the middle of the street boo-hooing because you're feeling discomfort, or standing in the middle of the street jumping for joy because you're happy. But guess what? If you're called to do so, by all means, do what you need to do, because we only have problems when that flow is stifled. And every emotion that's come up by some way, something that happened that triggered something that brought about an emotion, every emotion does not mean that what I'm thinking is fact. It just means emotions have come up. And as they come up, it's our responsibility to allow them to run their natural course. You got a river of sorrow coming up. You got a river of joy that's coming up. You have anticipation that's coming up. And it flows into the ocean. It rises and it dissipates. Then it rains down on some just pure patience and peace until the next time something comes up. But when we stifle that, the emotions that come up are distrust and paranoia and discontent and fear, and none of them are productive. So as we become unbound, we have to break the cycle of patterns that no longer serve us. Now, at a certain point in life, they might have kept us safe, but we're no longer afraid of those things. So now we're just stifling our growth with imagined, beating a drum for all kinds of fears and things that may or may never happen. But if we're surrendering our will to God, if we're recognizing that the safe way, or not safe way, the productive way to live and emote is to allow for flow, we're going to be okay. So the final card that supports the reading for today is the third ray of creative intelligence. And the third ray says that there is one challenge and one challenge only. And that is that we allow that ray to bear fruit. That we allow the universe its time to do what it needs to do. That we relinquish, we go back to that surrender, that we relinquish some of our control or some of our illusory control over circumstance. Because things are going to happen the way they are supposed to happen, no matter what I do. And when I am prayed up, grounded, and shielded, I recognize that things are always working out for we. They always are. And I don't say working out for me, because that would be self-centered. When I say things are always working out for we, it is a prayer for us all. So surrender. Let go of some of those patterns. Let go of some of that fear, most of which is self-imposed. Because you know and I know, as fluid as water is, when it's dammed up, that's where tsunamis come in and people get hurt and property gets torn down. And all that's because of restricted flow. So I'm asking you to emote in a fluid way. If you need to write when you are confused, if you need to write when you need to surrender, we need to pray and meditate and be at ease. Why? Because we know Spirit will never let us go. Why? Because we are one. We are Spirit. We are love personified. Thank you for listening, and be grateful for the new world, where love reigns and fear, like water, flows away. Thank you for listening, and have a great Wednesday. Peace.